Hello, welcome back to Monster Train. In this episode, this is not a normal episode. I'm going to run through the patch notes really quick because normally this is a pretty small patch in terms of actual number of changes. It's a lot of bug fixes, but so normally I would just start an episode with this and take like 2 minutes to go, yeah, these are cool or not cool. But because I'm recording the backlog, you won't see that episode for like a week, so I'm just gonna knock out a special video. Should be like maybe 10 minutes, just running through them real quick. So yeah, let's talk about it, shall we? We've been talking about it in the Discord today. If you want to hop in and do a little discussion in there, you can. Uh, I think these changes they're mostly inconsequential. I feel like nothing is too crazy here, but let's just go through it. Well, actually, Chef, the first one, 4 champion changes. Spine Chef got his health increased on Decayer, which is the Reap, it looks like. He's plus 10, plus 20, plus 30. That'll help his oops, I randomly died on the Divinity problem pretty well. You'll still need to find the survivability for him, but he'll live a little longer for you to find the survivability, which is fine. In fact, their attack progression increase, so I think that's the one that adds echoes when he strikes. This guy just gives more damage overall. This is like it's plus 5, plus 10, plus 15 basically because he gets multi-strike on that path. Sure, it's fine. Maybe you hit a specific breakpoint that I'm not thinking of with this change, but like I don't think it changes a ton. Fade got nerfed. I'm kind of surprised because I did not think they would ever hit Fade. But Firelight got its attack buffs dropped from 5, 15, 25 to 5, 12, 20. She's still gonna be ridiculous, I imagine, but a little less so. You'll maybe need 3 deaths instead of 2 to start one-shotting entire waves. Really what this change does is it means you might want to add in a few answer cards like Fatal Melting or Memento Mori to sneak by those early waves, potentially. Eternal Flame, which is the Endless Quick Path, got dropped from 20, 40, 60 to 15, 30, 60. This change is pretty minor. I think you still need 2 or 3. Yeah, you would. So it's 5, 45, 85 at rank 2, and now it's 5, 35, 65. So you'll need a third death to start killing heavies, but she's still gonna chunk stuff down. She's still gonna be really good. In the spell category, the only one that really matters here is they changed for the greater good. It's sad, you don't steal enemies anymore. It's like, it's really, really sad, but I get it. The card was a mess. The card was an absolute buggy mess. So I understand why they're changing it. I don't have to like it, but I get it. And it's fine. I don't even really like For the Greater Good that much, so I'm not that sad by it. Like, it was cool to steal a boss on the Divinity every now and then, but realistically, you just take the other piece in that event anyway. But maybe this is really nuts because the units are 1 capacity. So maybe you pull in something really cool. Like maybe you get like a 1 space tank out of it, and that could be really strong. I could also see this being really good if you remove consume, depending on what units are in the pool. It's like you have to play around with it sort of deal. In the unit section, this is for the mini bosses don't get stealth anymore in the Divinity on the one mutator that gives bosses 5 stealth. That's good because I think that mutator is actually just broken in the Divinity. I think that there's very little you can do about it. You have to take like resin removal, but or you can play like Soulguard, I guess, and he'll maybe handle it, but it's still rough. Thorned Hollow got 20 HP and spikes from 2 to 3. This unit's still terrible. Like I will probably at some point see it and go, well, it's better than nothing for frontline, but this unit is still really bad. Instead of needing, 15 rejuvenation triggers to start killing all the backline on the Divinity, you now need 10? I don't know. Maybe, I think at spikes 5, I would consider Thorned Hollow worth considering at least, because you're going to get somewhere. Like, Thorned Hollow at this point, I think the idea of the unit, he used to be you pick this guy, you stack regen on him, and he kills bosses for you. But now that they've changed Awoken Hollow just does that better because of higher health points. So, but with the higher health on Thorned Hollow, it's not so bad. But Awoken Hollow scales your backline unit, where Thorned Hollow kills their backline. However, I feel like Awoken has a lot of trouble scaling its backline without Awoken Hollow. Like Razor Sharp Edge does it, but it's very slow. So, I don't know. I feel like Awoken Hollow is always going to be better, but there will probably be a doomed run where I pick Thorned Hollow instead because I don't see anything better. But the real problem is Thorned Hollow is a mediocre tank, and the other two units in Awoken are tanks, right? Like if you ever have the sentient, you probably don't need Thorned Hollow. And Wendleton, he's usually frontlining. Maybe you can take Thorned Hollow to frontline for quick Wendleton now with space. That might be worth trying. Legion of Wax got its essence triggered as a revenge pop out a mode of wax. So now instead of when it dies you get two 8/8s, it's when it gets hit it pops out a 4/4 or not. Is it a? It's a. It used to pop out 4/4s and now it's gonna pop out a 2/2 that takes a hit. I think it's still awful. I think it's maybe less actively detrimental to your run and more worthless, which is good. Like it's a step in the right direction because I don't think this hurts your run anymore. Lodestone Totem, the essence on Lodestone Totem used to be apply sap to a random enemy, and now it applies sap to all enemies, but it adds 2 energy. So, Lodestone Totem, you can turn any of your units into Lodestone Totem. I think that sucks. Because I feel like at that point, you just play Lodestone Totem. I've been trying to think of the world. I think there's one unit that you could potentially put this on, and I think it's Armor Shark, because he's a unit that frontlines and cares about survivability, so encanting him and adding sap to the floor will help his survivability and be generally pretty good. I feel like usually though, with Lodestone Totem, you're better off to make 2 Lodestone Totems, slap them on top floor, and let the enemies walk up to the pyre and die. That strategy wins. Like as long as you can incant 4 or 5 times per round, you'll kill everything by applying 10 to 15 sap. And the floating bosses will die. You're weak to regular bosses though, so maybe this is good to have one shark. Like I think that I guess this doesn't suck because in this strategy that I'm outlining where you play 2 Lodestone Totems, you can now just infuse Lodestone Totem onto a different unit and play the exact same strategy but on a unit that's scaling as well. Yeah, actually I guess this is a pretty good change. Although you can never put it on any unit that costs more than 1. But in Stygian most of your units cost 1. I wonder if you can put this on like... If you could put this on like Votivary and cheat Lodestone Totem in for 0. Or 2, I guess. That's interesting. Transcendent cost from 1 to 2. It continues a trend where they nerf cards that are really good by just increasing their energy, and I don't like it. I never like it. I always think it feels bad. This is no exception. Like Transcendent is usually not going to work. Usually you have so much energy with Transcendent when you're high rolling that it doesn't matter because you have Pyre Chompers in the pool. When you don't, like it's just gonna be annoying. It's not gonna change the power of Transcendent a lot. You're still gonna play like 3 or 4 imps in a turn, drop Transcendent, and win the game usually. But like it's just annoying. That's really what I feel. I feel like in the low rolls this is a lot worse for Transcendent, and in the high rolls this changes nothing. I feel like if they want to hit Transcendent, they need to do something else. I don't really know what, because Transcendent is kind of a mess. The unit's always going to be very strong. Now, yeah, just that's it. I think Transcendent's always going to be very strong in the current state. You'd have to take him up to 3 energy, but if they do that, I mean, oh god. I hope that they find a way to nerf cards that isn't just energy increases, but I know that it's hard because, like how do you nerf something like Lodestone Totem? Making it 1 sap randomly for 1, it's gonna be... Actually, that would have been interesting. Anyway, Lodestone Totem and Glacial Seal are the big examples of cards they nerf by increasing their energy that still feels like kind of bad. Like Lodestone Totem still wins, as we just talked about, but it feels worse in the low rolls, right? That's the big thing. And it's less important on Transcendent because Transcendent doesn't draw priority. So in the unit section, I've talked about all of the changes that they did. I want to talk about the changes they didn't do. You might notice 2 big names missing the chopping block here. They didn't touch Apex Imp, and they didn't touch Eogor, or not Eogorgon, sorry, Eogorgon's fine. They didn't touch Apex Imp, and they didn't touch Morsel Maid at all, which is interesting, I would say. Very interesting. I imagine that in the next patch they'll probably do something. I think they'll probably let them just be as they are for a patch, and the next patch they'll do something, because Fade has been. It's not a secret that Fade's been very strong, but I think they waited a patch to let everyone have fun with her before knocking her down a bit, which is interesting, I suppose, as well. Uh, Going through the rest of it real quick. Votive Key only triggers on cards played from hand. This is a buff to Hallowed Halls with Votive Key. Votive Key is never a card that you're going to skip now because of this change. It's very good. Also, anti-synergy with Commemorative Spike, I guess. Really, the primary goal is to eliminate anti-synergy with Commemorative Spike, and not Hallowed Halls. Maybe this doesn't change with Hallowed Halls, because Hallowed Halls is a card played from hand, but I read this as Hallowed Halls isn't going to trigger Endless anymore. I guess we'll see. Malika Purge event heals instead of purging cards. I guess. I don't know. I didn't really take a lot. Like, the event was always nice, but I get the idea. You get too many purges in the DLC anyway, so sure. Old Magic occurs less frequently. Rail of the Covenant occurs less frequently. Quelling Brands occurs less frequently in Ring 3, but is also available in Ring 5. And the endgame events occur twice as often if you have the pack shards for them. I think the pack shards you need are 150, so I don't see these very often, but now if I go for it, you'll see it more often, which is cool. Event changes are fine. I don't really care too much about these. I feel like you don't put a whole lot of stock in events anyway because they're so random. Text. I don't care. It's just minor things. And bug fixes. I actually didn't read through these. Oh, Apex Imp and Morsel Main got their attack animations changed. Never mind. I'm actually excited to see what their attack animations are supposed to be, because Apex Imp just Tony Hawk slides on in there. Dude does a little kickflip on the way to slap him. But let's go through here. I'll read through these real quick. When two concealed caverns follow-up events trigger at the same time, the second event could be completely aborted if the user clicked to skip the intro animation. Ah, I've never had that happen, but that's good to know that it will not happen anymore, I suppose. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. Divine Horde not showing consistent artifacts between left or right path. Ah, oh, that's interesting. So, okay, yeah. This is the bug where you could see the same artifact twice in a run from Divine Horde. I've seen that one before. It didn't really matter. It just made me go, oh wow, that's weird. So that won't happen anymore. It's not a big change. Doesn't really matter. Artifact selection bug for people who don't own the DLC. This one is meaningless to me. I own the DLC. Wormkin cards add consume to a card with Eternal Stone. The consume tag will always show up. That's like one of those weird interactions where I think for a while Eternal Stone would remove consume that was added in combat as well. So there's a little bit of leftover here. Apex Imp and Morsel made attack animations. Cool. Added Shard of the Divinity to the logbook. I didn't even know this event existed, so that's cool. Fix the situation in run summary. A card could show a replacement parameter name instead of the correct numeric value. I haven't seen that. Controller keyboard issue. Buy more upgrades than intended. Huh. Interesting. Vapor Funnel didn't trigger on the last Divinity when he enters the Pyre Room. Dude, imagine losing a run because your Vapor Funnel didn't kill the last Divinity. Oh, that would be really sad. Hey, they fixed Hammer Chestplates and Commemorative Spike. Cool. Commemorative Spike no longer neutralizes Ember Drain on Covenant 10. That's a shame because it was the best reason to take Commemorative Spike, but I knew that was a bug. Bone Rattler and Bone Shine didn't trigger Etch, apparently. Bone Shine shouldn't trigger Etch, right? Because it's Purge. Weird. Edge Prior's cost reduction is working on old magic now. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around in these, but I'm noticing ones that I missed because I just kind of skipped over it. But Edge Prior's cost reduction works on old magic now. Cool. Incorrupt will take information for Steel Singer. Fix Sacrificial Resurrection Ember cost incorrect when copied by Twinstone? Okay, real quick, I want to peep the new tooltip on Steel Singer, because I don't know what is wrong with that, or what was wrong with that, so let's see if I notice what was different. No, I have no idea what's different here. Rejuvenate +1 attack permanently. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to go through the patch notes real quick, because I won't, like, it'll be, if I do it at the start of an episode, it'll be a while before you see that, probably 6 days. So by then, everyone will have played on the patch for like a week, and it won't matter. So I wanted to get this out right now, give you my thoughts and all of that. So yeah, thanks for watching. As always, if you want to talk about the patch notes, you can hop in the Discord and we can talk about them. I'm always down, and I'll yeah, see you soon. Goodbye.